Interpersonal Communication Project, Liberty University, John Korusek, March 2012. Mona Hard discusses 6 types of communication. Verbal communication includes written and oral communication. Oral communication refers to the spoken words in the communication process. Written communication can be either by snail mail, mail, or email. Non-verbal communication includes body language, facial expressions, and visual diagrams or pictures used for communication. Formal communication, typically this can include all sorts of business and corporate communication. Informal communication includes instances of free and unrestrained communication between people who share a casual rapport with each other. John Stewart discusses 2 qualities of communication. Impersonal is the label I use to describe your typical experience at the bank, convenience store, and fast food restaurant. Interpersonal communication as the type or kind of communication that happens when people involved talk and listen in ways that maximize the presence of the personal. Written communication emphasizes the person involved rather than just their personal roles or stereotypical characteristics. Interpersonal communication is happening. I'm Johnny, a DJ and a former radio personality. In high school, I took radio communications, another form of communication. Radio communication was a class to teach students how to communicate with people through news, talk, and music as an on-air personality in a studio full of equipment that broadcasted a message to people via radio waves in the air. So for me, communication becomes second nature. But to me, communication is more talking than listening. A DJ plays music and talks. We do not listen, but mostly to music. This short wave of just talking, I'd probably fall into the category of impersonal communication. One of many things I always say to myself out loud is, I don't have time. This would explain my impersonal communication instead of taking the time with interpersonal communication. In my day, a DJ would spin CDs or compact discs. In interpersonal communication, Dr. Carbonell also uses the term disc, a great tool in help developing of interpersonal communication. Also comes in the form of disc. Active, outgoing in interpersonal communication, people, passive, reserved, tasks. This is what DISC stands for in interpersonal communication. Dr. Carbonell uses DISC personality profile in his book, How to Solve the People Puzzle, Understanding Personality Patterns. By completing a Uniquely You profile online at www.uniquelyu.net, this profile consists of 2 graphs. Graph 1 is, this is expected of me. Graph 1 is my masked or guarded behavior, like when I'm locked up in the DJ booth. Mine is DS or SD. SD or steady doers get the job done. Let people know who you're capable and confident. I speak out. I'm excited. I'm strong in my weaknesses. I encourage and help others daily. Graph 2, this is me. Graph 2 is more of a casual, open behavior. As an above the midline personality type, I am an overachiever. I want to operate as all 4 types. In other words, I have all 4 letters, D-I-S-C, above the midline on graph 2. This indicates that I am motivated to act as each type. I strive to be the best I can be at each one. These graphs help me understand this is expected of me and this is me. I crave a constant and familiar environment, graph 1. I crave challenge and control, freedom from control, and choices rather than ultimatums, graph 2. These graphs or behavior blends help me to determine how to respond to interpersonal communication. A DJ will play music a person doesn't like. A DJ will also play music for dances a DJ doesn't particularly like. In interpersonal communication, I try to stay away from the dance known as the flat brain shuffle. I sometimes am affected by others just like others are affected by me. I can easily transfer good as well as bad moods to me as well as others. Now I know what to look for to avoid that flat brain tango. The flat brain syndrome shows why it is so difficult for us to listen, think, act, or even relate to others when our emotions go on overload. Because not only to mention our eyes are bugged out, but our ears are stuffed with our brain. Listening to music is one thing. Listening to people is quite another. James said, everyone should be quick to, that's right, listen. In the conversation lecture to HSER 508, the lecturer said, examine your heart. Have you discovered that you really listen at a level 3 to your family and friends? Those people who are supposed to be the most important to you? I must admit, I have. My listening does not involve exhaling, being open to other self-expression, disclosure, and assertiveness in communication. With most of my DJ being spent by myself, I need to step out of the DJ closet, so to speak. I have an inner monologue that I have taken into communication. I have learned through my behavior blend that I not just speak to a group, I like to control that group. I need to develop a dialogue. This tune I do not need to play. It's my way or the highway. Everyone has a voice. I need to see things from another's perspective. My level 3 listening with family, I need to practice to get to a level 1. I want to make meaning in conversation together instead of alone. When I don't have that voice, I need to be careful what messages I'm portraying. In order for a DJ to communicate, we practice theater of the mind. This helps the DJ to get into character to portray what message to an audience that they can't see. Stewart calls this nonverbal communication. The lecturer calls this the meta-message. The meta-message is meaning that is not said, at least not in so many words, but that we glean from every aspect of the context. I need to make sure my face and body language are telling the real story of my interpersonal communication. I cannot not communicate, so in order to have a more effective interpersonal communication, I need to be less impersonal and more interpersonal in my communication. I need to make time to listen to be more impersonal in communication. I must control my emotions to avoid the flat brain syndrome. I should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. James 1:19. I need to be open to others in communication. Everyone has a voice. Everyone has a perspective. I should say what I mean and mean what I say. My verbal should match my nonverbal communication.